The first thing I noticed is a lot of people are struggling with the aftermath, and common cleaning mistakes are you leave the food out too long, or maybe you cook something too acidic in the beginning, and it makes that cleaning process a little more difficult when it comes time to that. And another thing I did mention in my video about using kosher salt. You can use a little chain scrubber. I did get one off of Amazon, and I've been using it for a while, and it actually works pretty good. So if you don't have one of those, I'll drop a link in the description. You can check it out. And the number one mistake that I see and that I hear from people doing is they leave it out overnight, and you just don't want to do that. And the second thing is that you're not drying it enough, or you're not drying it properly, I should say. So what's happened is after you're cooking your meal, and you rinse it off, you do the kosher salt, and you get all the crusties out of that pan, you want to get it dry. And so when I say dry, you don't just take a paper towel, dry it off, and just set it in the cabinet. No, we don't do that, guys. You got to heat it on the burner. You got to get that pan hot. You want to get it warm. You definitely, because you want that cast iron to retain all that oil that you're going to put back in there. You're going to put just a little coat of oil in there when you're done cleaning. After you wash it off, you're gonna let that pan heat up, and then, like I said, you're gonna put that oil in there to get that season back on there. Otherwise, you're gonna have a dry pan, like something like this. All right, so this is, and I don't know if you guys watched or not. This was one of my foo bars here. Bought this cheap little Mainstay brand cast iron skillet from Walmart. I've had it for about 8 years, and I saw when I was doing my cast iron restoration video of Joanne's pan, I noticed the hairline crack in this pan. That's actually how I got the pan. I told Joanne, I was like, yeah, I think my 10-inch cheap pan was about to go, and then she snapped on a video. And I'll drop that link in there if you guys want to get a kick out of that. Thankfully, I had a few comments. They were like, good thing you weren't cooking something, or, good thing, I wasn't like walking in the kitchen and it broke my tile or my foot or whatever. So, all crisis was averted. No animals were hurt. No humans were hurt. So we're all good there. Okay. So anyway, so back to after, we're trying to dry that pan off. Like I said, you want to do that kosher salt and water, get everything off, dry it off, paper towels. One thing I didn't bring out here, I should have, is another thing that I used to do and I started doing again is I cut up an old t-shirt. And if you just cut up a t-shirt that's old and raggedy and you cut it up in little squares, one thing I will say is wash it first, because when I was using it, I forgot that when you cut it, that lint kind of freshly gets off. So after you cut your t-shirt up, then if you don't want lint in your cast iron, you definitely want to rewash that shirt you're using instead of paper towels. And so what I do is I have one side that has the fresh, like the clean, non-used shirt, old t-shirt squares, and then I have the other side, which is a new. It's got a little bit of oil on there. I use it, a few times. And again, if you're cooking regular, it's fine. But if you go 2-3 weeks in between cooking on cast iron, you might just want to stick with paper towels. So anyway, so back to, we're heating that pan back up and we're drying it off. And I mentioned before that you don't want to stack it on top of other things. And if you happen to not have cabinet space, then you're going to want to put some kind of layer in between it. A paper towel or a towel, this is like a dish towel. This is my cast iron Dutch oven that I restored, and since the last video, she looks a little better, doesn't she? So, but I mentioned in that video how you want to have a space when you store it. Like right here, I want to have that space so that way air can escape. Otherwise, all that oil in there could potentially get rancid and all that. If you cook on it regular, you may not need to do all that. So we talked about, common mistakes, leaving the food out too long and then not drying it completely. So now, another thing a lot of people do that I've seen is they over scrub. Maybe you think that it's got to be super smooth every time, and that's definitely not true at all. You don't want to push that envelope too hard, because the harder you scrape, I mean, you're potentially going to start taking some of that seasoning off, and that's not what we want to do. So I definitely would pay in mind for that. And then actually a buddy of mine, I subscribe to his channel. His channel name is Hog Wild Cast Iron. He mentioned this 1950s eco, like a stainless spatula that's a good one to use for cooking and things like that. And he's got a really interesting channel. So if you're into like true hardcore old school restoration and learning more about old pans, he's got a great channel. I would encourage you to check it out. And he's definitely he's more experienced in the realm of cast iron than I am, for sure. So he's got some really good information on his channel. And he tours around and he goes to different flea markets and things. Really cool. I definitely want to check him out and kind of see what he's got at his shops, and maybe find me that vintage cast iron pan or something. So all right. So the second biggest thing that people have been mentioning in comments from the beginner series for cast iron cooking is which oil to use. And which one do you use for normal cooking, and which one do you use to season? Do I need to put the seasoning and put it in the oven all the time? I mean, so there's a little confusion surrounded about seasoning. And so I just kind of wanted to clear the air on that, make it simple for everybody. So in my opinion, there are so many different kind of oils you can use to season cast iron, so many different types of oil you can use to cook on it frequently. But the consensus that I've got from comments from you guys and just preferred methods of oil and all that, honestly, there are three basic kinds. I don't have the avocado oil out here, but I did have a gentleman comment and say that avocado oil is the way to go, and I looked into it and it's got a good smoke point. The only drawback to avocado oil is that it is more expensive, and I also noticed that if you get the refined avocado oil, it has a higher smoke point. So if you are going to go that route, you might want to make sure that it's refined. That's just the research I did. So any of you cast iron enthusiasts that might know a little more about that, please comment below if I'm out of bounds. This is for beginners and experienced cast iron community folks, so we can all kind of help grow and really encourage people to come back to cast iron, because it's been around forever. Well, not literally ever, but so anyway, so I'm personally a fan of canola oil. That's what I like to use because it's in my opinion, it's the best value oil and seasoning. And I know it's not the best for you, but I'm not going to be using it to deep fry. In fact, I very rarely fry in my cast iron, if ever, actually. So I did want to mention that. And but canola oil is my favorite seasoning. Now, when I'm talking about doing the seasoning, I'm talking about the first time, or your pan's kind of been out of commission for a while, and it's got a little bit of rust, and kind of like this pan right here. Oh, I don't know, poor baby, she broke on us. But you can kind of see some of that rust right here. That's just from me not using it since it broke. But that doing the oven seasoning is very rare. You shouldn't be doing that all the time. In fact, once you start cooking regular, you're not going to need to do that. So I did have another gentleman mention about doing seasoning on your stovetop. And so I kind of looked into it, and it's actually an interesting concept, and I never really thought about doing it. So and he actually recommends using vegetable oil. Now, he mentioned that at one time he was using the can of Crisco, but apparently there's haters out there that are like anti-Crisco in the can because it's bad for you and all this other stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna let you make your own decision. Do your research, find out what cooking oil is best for you. But seasoning on your stovetop, even though vegetable oil doesn't have as high of a smoke point as vegetable oil or canola oil, you can still get a good, nice, polymerization. Remember what polymerization is? Hope you do. If not, go back and check it out. Anyway, so if you use that canola oil on there, like I said, or vegetable oil, you can just season that bad boy right on the stove top, and you don't have to worry about it. And when that would be the time to do something like that is something like this pan where the rust is minimal. I definitely would want to clean that off and obviously have a handle that works. So then when you get that cleaned off, then you could just put it on the stovetop and heat it up, and and get everything to just kind of solidify that way. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and keep going. And again, comment below, what do you want to see next? What do you want to know more of? Do we want to dive more into the world of cooking? In fact, after this video, I'm actually going to get on this fire right here, and I'm going to take our Dutch oven and cook up a meal like we're camping or something. So anyway, hope you have a great day. This is Heath Haley from East Texas Duct Tape. Thank you, and God bless you.